Hey, so what's going up, guys? So today I'm going to be talking about my personal budget decks for the current format, and don't worry, this is not changing my room or stuff. This is just nice because then I can put up the card for each deck, put information and things like that. Probably might not even put information because I'm lazy, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so first off, this is in no order, kind of is, but it kind of isn't. I'd say the first like 8 decks are in an order, but the top 10 budget decks, and yes, there are other ones I'm not listed that are just as good too, but these are basically more my personal budget decks that I feel like you should go play if you want to kind of do something in this format without having to spend over 150 bucks on a deck to do some work. So, without further ado, let's get off. So, first off, 6 Sams. Now, people are thinking 6 Sams aren't that good without Gateway, and I agree. Gateway is needed, at least at 1, to give them some power. But, like with other decks, if things get hit, you evolve. Dragon Rollers did 1,000 times. And people have not evolved with 6 Sams that often. I still see people saying, playing Assassin and 6 Samurai, which is a good card. I am not saying it's not. But when there's not only one Shein and there's no gateway for recycling, it doesn't really... The Assassin is good, but it's not as good as other plays you could have done in the past. So with that in mind, you need to evolve. Shein's Chancellor, good card. It's not that big of a power, but it pops. It is a good card, and you can also make other Syncers with 6 Sams. And now they have Roted to 2, so they have 5 Searchers. And draw power out the wazoo. It's a very good deck, not the highest tier whatever, but very good budget deck. I'd say with extra deck and everything, it's going to cost you about 75 bucks. Tops. Now, my personal favorite that everybody knows I like, Battling Boxers. Yes, Battling Boxers are a very good deck. Now they have Roted to 2, it gives them 2 Searchers. The deck is just very good and very consistent with making lead yoke, and it's very good against hats, so I found out. Me and my friend were playing against them, and I played it online to further test it, and hats can still beat it, don't get me wrong, but it's very good. Like, it can give them some problems, surprisingly. And also with the Battle Boxers, you play at least 10 traps, so that's a good hefty amount of back row for playing, and it's a very cheap deck. And with the extra deck, I see all the cards cost you, especially since Mirror Force and Deep Prison are very cheap right now. I'd say it only cost me about 60 or 70 bucks for the entire deck. Very budget, very budget. Now another budget deck that also will cost you with all the extra deck. Now you could get better. Now this is the same with 6 Sams and Battle Boxers. Let me stop for a sec. You could get better extra decks with number 101 and stuff. I'm just saying the lead basics and some extra deck cards that you don't need. Like number 101 and Extant Knight, I'm not including as extra deck cards. I'm counting like lead yoke for 6 Sams, lead yoke for Battle Boxers, and then like Notoria Beast and Shein for your extra deck and 6 Sams. Now, if you want any other synchro, you can add that cost on your deck. But I'm saying for the core of the deck and the main cards you need, very budget. That's what I'm getting on the Fire Kings. With Rekindling, you can make number 101 and stuff, but mostly for Fire Kings, you don't use an extra deck that often. You can make Rake 4s, but most of the time you're using Fire King effects to get off more effects, and for that, the deck is also very budget, and I know everybody knows this, so this one is just a no-brainer. But yes, Fire Kings, even if you want to go on ballsy, only just get a cheap few rank 4s, the deck's going to cost you like 45, 50 bucks with card sleeves and everything. And so yeah, there you go, and maybe $58 with a deck box. So Fire Kings, very budget. Now this one is a big one that everybody knows about, but it's Lightsworn, and I'm not even going to talk about Lightsworn because we've already talked about it. It is budget, it's very budget, but if you want to go the extra mile, it can be very competitive, very expensive. So it's in between, it can be budget and competitive. Even the budget version is still very competitive, so keep that in mind. Number 5, which I said there's no order, but Dark Worlds, I already had a video about this yesterday. Dark Worlds are very good this format. Like they are every format to some degree. Am I saying they're number 1? No, I'm just saying they're good for a budget deck. A budget deck that can do power. Now, also keep in mind, I'm not just naming all the budget decks that can win. These are all the budget decks that can kick ass. So, but Dark World's always budget, always a good choice, and they got everything reprinted in Secret and Ultra Rare, and they're still cheap right now, so like if you really wanted to pimp out your Dark World deck, now's the time. Spellbooks. Now, this would be debatable of how, budget they are. They're not budget, so this one is a little off, but it's a very good deck, and it's definitely not super expensive now. Everything's really gone down in price, but it's still not budget. But I'm still putting it on here because I consider it budget from what it way used to be, and it's still a very good deck. So keep that in mind, that Spellbooks are a good deck, especially this format. Nimdim, let's talk about that. So if you want further details on why Spellbooks are good, go to Nimdim's video of the top 10 decks in general of this format. He'll explain why. This one, actually, it's pretty much, I have 12 decks on this 10 deck list, but this one I'm doing, you'll see what I'm doing. So this one, since they're brothers, Light and Dark, Evil Storm and Constellars, they're both budget, they came out in the same set. They are very good this format. This is just a top 10 budget decks for the format, but these are good because Constellars can always do stuff, and man, Pleiades is just a problem in general. But the Evil Swarm against JD, Lightsworn, same with Dark Worlds too, except if they have the skill drain. But the Evil Swarm matchup is good just in general. Evil Swarms are just good for some of the decks that are out right now. Fire Kings, some of the decks I already mentioned. So they're good, and Constellars have also their pros of why they're good, and they are very cheap right now, especially with their extra deck cards. Go get them if you want to play. If you saw it before, even back in the day, it wasn't that expensive when they came out. It was just a little bit more expensive, but now they're super cheap. So pick them up if you want to play them and you never got to, and they are alright this format. So, also Raccoons, a deck that I personally just sold that I love to death. I sold it just because I wanted to play something else. I'm still thinking about what I'm trying to play, and I think I have it in mind, and we're going to get to it in a second, but I'm still thinking. Because I want to play the new heroes. I want to play hand heroes. If the hands don't get... I'm ranting. It's not the point. Let's get on with it. Raccoons are very good. They are super budget, and the extra deck cards that you need are super budget. You need a Black Rose, you need a Naturia Beast, you need things like that. The extra deck can cost you some money, but the deck is very budget, and there's a few couple of builds you can build. You can build heavy boss monster versions, you can build heavy synchro versions, things of that nature. Raccoons are just amazing. Go pick up Raccoons if you're planning on playing a deck. It's great. Go get them. Also, by the way, nobody sees it coming sometimes, the things they can do. Love it. This one is another 2 decks, because it's fire and water, kind of like the Constellar Evil, Dark and Light that I did. Fire Fist and Mermails. Now, Mermails and Fire Fist have kind of gone off the radar with all the other decks right now. But Fire Fist and Mermail are always going to be good decks. They're very budget right now. Now, Mermails, you're going to have to cough up some money if you want to make it better, because to make some rank 7s. But Fire Fist, the only thing that I'd say is relatively expensive for when you make rank 4s is that you would need to be competitive, but if you're being budget and you can still get off with it, is number 101 and Exciton Knight. That's pretty much the only thing that's making it expensive. But if you're not playing that, Tiger Kings are down to $1, like $80 or $2 now after they got reprinted premium gold. I don't know why, since they got reprinted premium gold, that they went down that low. I thought it would be like at least $6 or $7, but yeah, Tiger Kings, you can get a set of 3 of them for like $6. So that's like the main card of the deck, and you can get all the other extra deck cards that are amazing except Exciton Knight and number 101 for pretty dirt cheap right now. So Fire Fists are, even though they're still not amazing like they used to be, they are still pretty good and also very budget right now. So pick them up if you need to get them. Now, the deck that is actually good this format, besides Dark Worlds against the Lightsworns and maybe Shadows, depending on what versions you play. Now, people might not agree with me with this, and this isn't going to be a discussion. I'm going to have a discussion about this later, but I'm just going to say it. Vampires. Yes, vampires are going to be good this format. I don't know if anybody's picked up on it yet. I've been testing a deck. It's still in the works, so wait until you see the deck profile and deck discussion combo video that I have coming up. But I'm having vampires because working against Lightsworns and soon-to-be Shadows and Sylvans, they get some effects off of their field spell that you can get to your hand pretty easily, and there are other things they do, and the monster effects they have to send cards to the graveyard. Now, granted, you don't want to send some of your opponent's cards to the graveyard, but with the effects and the effects of, you know, Lightsworn sending their own off, it can get pretty dirty with some of the things with Vampire do. Plus, Mizuki's at 3, Plague's at 3, even though you don't really play Plague in Vampires. But we also have, they can play Zombie World if you really need to decide it in instead of as your DNA surgery. And we have 3 Book of Lives, too. And the Vampire card, it's a good card. If you don't see what I'm getting at, just wait for my discussion and thing video. If it all goes together well. Right now I'm still in testing, so there's a 50-50% chance that video will come out about me discussing vampires for the format. But they are very budget, and I'd say just zombies in general, really. So zombies and vampires, but vampires specifically because of Lightsworn right now. You'd have to figure out a right build, which I'm still doing. But keep that in mind, vampires / zombies are very budget, and with Belze and the Dragon Necro card that came out, this fusion, it made zombies a lot better. You just need to play a very good build, so I'd say look up a lot of builds, stuff like that. But once again, very budget. Even with Belze, it's a very budget deck. So yeah, guys, these are the budget decks that I think are the best for this format for your money and performance for dirt cheap. I mean, 6 Sams I still feel like are the best because like for $55 you can have 55 to 75. You can have an amazing deck. 5 Searchers. And 6 Sams, I know they're not like they used to be, but you can get your opponent OTK them pretty quick when you have 5 Searchers. But Battle Boxers got 10 times better with the Search. And no, I know what everybody's thinking. I'm not saying Noble Knights because Noble Knights are just not still good enough. They're still pretty expensive. Even though they did drop in price, they're still expensive for what they are. Don't think they're good enough. Creature swap ruins them. Anyhow, this is my budget deck, guys. If you like this video, thumbs it up, subscribe, share it to people to show them what to play. And if I helped you out, pick out a deck, even though you guys already know pretty much all of these, or maybe you weren't thinking about them. I don't know. But hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later, guys. Peace.